Let's move on to this conversation. Founded by Dr. Maureen Allem, Skin Renewal takes a doctor-led approach to aesthetics. Every treatment plan starts with a medical consultation, ensuring safety and personalization. Skin Renewal specializes in non-surgical aesthetics treatments and holistic anti-aging solutions, blending cutting-edge medical technology with wellness-focused care. Joining us on the line now is founder Dr. Maureen Allem. Dr. Maureen, very good afternoon and thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Queen. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for taking this time. I mean, just tell us a little bit about Skin Renewal. Who are you and what do you do?
Okay, so I'm a medical doctor and I've been practicing for the last 40 years. 20 of those years were in conventional medicine. And then in the year 2000, I discovered the amazing botulinum treatment, which changed my path, which changed my journey. And I also discovered functional medicine, which is getting to the root cause of illness and disease. So between those two, that is what Skin Renewal is about. Non-surgical anti-aging treatments, and then paired with lifestyle, which is so important. So lifestyle forms the foundation of all our treatments and our solutions.
And what sort of services do you offer?
Well, we do the lifestyle stuff. So we do weight loss programs. We do injectables like the botulinum and the dermal fillers and the threads. And then we do many in-clinic treatments for patients who suffer from acne, rosacea, pigmentation, which is all prevalent here in sunny South Africa, especially the pigmentation problems. And then post-acne, you get the pigmentation as well. So that's what we mainly deal with.
How should skincare routines change with seasons, Dr. Allem, especially here in South Africa? Because sometimes we go from extremes, from extreme cold to extreme heat, and sometimes that affects our skin routines and our skin, as it were.
No, absolutely. Now we're approaching summer. So the earth in South Africa is getting closer to the sun, especially in South Africa. So we have to pay extra attention to the UV index, which is much higher. Okay, so it slowly, progressively gets higher and then it abates. But for summer, it depends on the temperature. So, hot, dry summers or hot, humid summers. So it also depends on the humidity. And here in Gauteng, we have very hot, dry summers. So our skincare, has to change according to that.
And what are the biggest skincare challenges that people face during winter or summer, for that matter, as we are heading into summer?
So in summer, we have intense radiation. So it's very important to have UV protection. But in fact, one needs UV protection all year round. But we have to pay much more attention, during the summer months. So we have to, apply, sunscreen every morning, and make sure that if if it's very dry, to change your, to make sure that you have hydrating ingredients in your moisturizers like ceramides and hyaluronic acid if it's very dry, and yet in the hot, humid climates like in KZN and in Natal, you need less hydrating. So you need, more water-based moisturizers to put on the skin, to prevent clogging up down the line.
And are there any common skincare myths you'd love to debunk?
Okay, so the biggest one is that if it's overcast outside, you don't need UV protection, and that's a complete myth. You need UV protection because the UV rays come through the clouds, and that's what catches people a lot. They think, it's shady, the sun's not shining so brightly, I'm going to go outside and I'm not going to reapply my sunscreen every 2 hours. Or if I go have a swim and then I don't reapply my sunscreen, and I stay outdoors, for hours on end without doing anything, without going into shade or putting on protective clothing or reapplying sunscreen. And that's when you have a problem. And that's when your skin can get a severe dose of UV radiation.
How do things like diet, sleep, stress affect our skin?
It's very important. So there are many inflammatory foods that one needs to avoid, especially if you have a skin condition such as acne, eczema. So the inflammatory, so what we say at Skin Renewal, you have to avoid grains, which is difficult in South Africa because a lot of our staple diet is grains, alcohol, all of these foods are inflammatory to the gut, and they open up these channels in your gut, which these inflammatory particles get into the body and go everywhere, go to every single cell in the body. And they land up in the skin, and then you start getting problems like acne or dermatitis. So you need to decrease the inflammatory foods, especially sugar. And very often dairy is also a culprit, believe it or not. So some of our staple foods are actually very inflammatory on the gut and on the body as a whole.
You speak about products that people can use, your sunscreen and so on and so forth. But are there ingredients that people should look out for or avoid, for that matter, in their skincare products?
Okay, very often fragrances. Someone can be allergic to fragrances and sulfates in the skincare products. And then you can get, you can get sensitivity, and you can break down your barrier, your skin's barrier. And that is the start of the domino effect of skin problems when your barrier is impaired. So it's very important to repair that barrier and not, as I say, have these fragrances, or very perfumed skin products on your skin. And if you do have very dry, sensitive skin, what we suggest is looking for a ceramide cream. So you get ceramide, you get fatty acids such as shea butter, and you get glycerine as well that will help repair that barrier. And another very important active ingredient would be niacinamide, which is vitamin B3, to help you repair that barrier.
And what are some of those mistakes you see people make with their skincare that we can easily avoid and that's cost effective?
Like in humid climates, putting a very moisturizing, like a fatty acid on your skin, because then you're going to sweat and you're going to land up with clogged pores and you may land up with acne. Okay? Or if you over-exfoliate your skin, sometimes less is more. So maybe once or twice a week you can exfoliate your skin. But if you have a problem like breakouts and acne, then I'd suggest only once a week, because you can cause skin sensitivity if you exfoliate too often. So those are the main culprits. And, looking, sometimes you think that natural ingredients are better than, ingredients that product houses make, but that's not always the case.
So one has to look very closely in terms of what they're getting and what's in their products. Just as we wind down the conversation, Dr. Allem, where do people find you? Where can people find Skin Renewal? And I understand you have multiple luxurious clinics across Gauteng.
Yes, so we've got 20 branches across, 7 in Gauteng, 3 in Pretoria area, and 7 in the Western Cape, and then we have 3 branches in KZN. So we've got quite a national footprint and quite easily accessible from most city and major metropolitan areas.
And I always have to ask this one, Dr. Maureen, as a man, that do you have treatments that are specifically for men?
I think, yes, absolutely. Men still get breakouts. I mean, men still can get pigmentation post-breakouts. Men still age, believe it or not. I mean, that's why you look like you look now, and that's why when you an Almadala, that's why you look like that, because we all have intrinsic aging. And what I heard, in one of the congresses overseas is that even though you have the best diet, which is great, and you live till 100 and you exercise and you do everything well, you will still look 100 if you don't do anything about the intrinsic aging that happens. So aging happens no matter how good your diet is, which you need to have an amazing diet, but you will still age. And that's where we come in, just to give you that natural look, not to change who you are, but just so that, to give you that inner confidence that when you do show up at the best version of yourself. That's what it's all about, the natural best version of yourself.
And finally, Dr. Maureen, where can people find Skin Renewal? Where can people contact you on the
Okay, you can
socials?
look
Do
at
you
our
have a
website.
website?
The website's the best, www.skinrenewal.co.za. That's the best. I mean, you'll see all the locations on the website, and you'll see lots of advice on skin and aging and what you can do. You know, all the various skin conditions that one has. We've got a lot of information there to educate the people who go to our website.
Dr. Maureen Allem, thank you so much for coming through, founder and medical director of Skin Renewal.